Yes, I would like to invite the President of the Naples Chamber of Commerce, Maurizio Maddaloni, to make the first address of this conference. Welcome in Naples for the 4th edition of Shipping and the Law in the Recent and Current Market. Thank you. Maurizio.
Thank you, Mr. Lauro. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Chamber of Commerce of Naples, I would like to give really my warmest welcome to all participants to the 4th edition of this conference that has drawn the leading figures of international shipping to our city for the 4th year running. That's really a pleasure and a big honor for me to open in a such important opportunity, giving Chamber of Commerce welcome. The outstanding speakers at the presence of senior representatives from the main national and international shipping industry organization, as well as representatives from economic and financial institutions, are a token of the importance of this event organized by the Lauro law firm of Naples. In order to plot the course set by the title of the 4th conference, Where is Shipping Going?, we must direct the compass, although it has been replaced by satellite technology nowadays, towards two key indicators for the Italian shipping industry. The Campania region accounts for 30% of the Italian shipping industry's turnover. The entrepreneurial system of the Campania shipping industry, according to the available data, is mainly made up of the medium-large enterprises, over 50% of them having turnovers exceeding 2 million euros. Moreover, the added value of the transportation and logistics sector, in which shipping plays a key role, exceeds the 8% added value of Campania. Furthermore, the transportation and logistics companies located in our region accounts for more than 6% of national added value of this sector. I would like to emphasize that our region produces many shipping groups that reach top levels, and many of them are present. First, one of the first, let me say, first for us, for example, Mr. Grimaldi. Thanks for being there. We are very proud of your new nomination as president of Confitalma, and we are sure that with your effort, this important association will grow up once again as the rule of navigation industry enterprises. Thanks a lot to take this responsibility. That's important for Italy, and that's important as that you are a Neapolitan company that is based still in Naples, not abroad. It's very important. We are very proud of your group's works in favor of our destination. Thanks once again. However, despite the success of the Campania shipping sector, our region suffers a lack of support to the port system, which is penalized by regulation not taking into account the evolution of the market and the needs of dockers and ship owners. Shedding such a powerful light on the shipping industry shortcomings and addressing the issue connected with this very year doesn't mean that we have to lose sight of the strategic priorities of our port system. We have to urge the launch of a legislative procedure that guarantee financial autonomy to the ports. The ports of Naples, in fact, has for a long time been placed under administration, which hampers the start of a Europe-funded development project. This will be a fundamental step for the infrastructural development and for the recovery of trade. As a matter of fact, it has been estimated that in the next few years, despite of ongoing crisis, the Mediterranean area will see such an increase of trade that will trigger investment for all the port and shipping chain. It is a big challenge and we must win despite the sea is still stormy and in some cases we are gonna have to play it by ear. To conclude my brief address, I would like to add that the Chamber of Commerce of Naples is willing to identify any signs of change and the needs of shipping entrepreneurs, of all the workers in the sector, the professional and the representative of credit and insurance sectors attending this conference, in order to turn them into opportunities for a durable ground of the economic fabric at the local and national levels. Thanks a lot for your attention and really enjoy your days and your job during this important conference that Chamber of Commerce is following since the original beginning 4 years ago. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you very much. Many thanks, Maurizio, for your kind words of introduction. And now I would ask Emanuele Grimaldi to set the scene for the conference today.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 4th edition of the Shipping and Law in the recent and current markets. I am delighted to be here today to offer some opening comments and to set the scene on the day program. Before I go any further, I must say that this event would have not been possible without the commitment of Francesco Lauro, of Studio Legale Lauro, and his team, who have put together a conference of top names and critical subjects. Thank you, Maurizio, for your opening. I must say that the Chamber of Commerce is one of the very few institutional things that is working very well in Naples, and this is thanks to you. I'm sure that also Francesco would like to thank for your attendance and for the sponsor that today have helped to make this event possible with their generous support. This conference comes at a very interesting and important time in the shipping cycle. For some months, we have seen what we think is light at the end of the tunnel. Rates in some shipping sector have shown sustained improvement, though this is not the case across the board. Oversupply continues to be a problem, and while we see a bigger and bigger ship order entering the market, the demand for their service remains a bit questionable. Global economic confidence has improved, but still remains fragile, and in many cases dependent on the fiscal support measure. This is particularly true for the United States, while in China, the barometer of the shipping industry health grows, the growth is slowing down as the economy matures. The upturn in our fortunes can be seen in a return of ordering new tonnage, which, while encouraging for shipyards, also represent a threat for the sustainability of the recovery. Shipyards' capacity remains high, and even now that prices have arguably reached the bottom, the temptation to rebuild fleets as we emerge from the downturn remains strong for owners who have been prudent during the bad times. To sustain the recovery, we also need to demonstrate that we have collectively learned from the past. As owners, we must be entrepreneurial, but we must do this as a key link in the logistic chain rather than as a solo traders and speculators in the market or in assets. Banks and financial institutions should support this by backing only the project which represent sensible investment. They are very different from the pure gambling exercise which heavily harmed shipping and generated a perception of it as a high-risk industry. and we must together insist that all vessels have a maximum trading life, which should not be extended for commercial reasons or at the expense of safety. But I do not have to tell you that shipping faces significant challenges that appear to be beyond its control, even when they come from within the industry. Regulation of ballast water discharge, sulfur and nitrogen oxide emission, the recent entry into force of the Maritime Labour Convention, not to forget the predicted rewriting of SOLAS, decided by the Secretary General of IMO, is increasing at an almost exponential rate. I have not even mentioned the big one, carbon, but as we likely hear today, the issue of shipping contribution to climate change has been deferred, not removed. Moves by the European Union to monitor carbon emission are likely first step towards some kind of scheme that will result in ship owners paying for carbon, whether or not the IMO can agree on a global scene. While responsible, ship owners accept that emission of carbon and sulfur must be addressed, it is essential that any resulting regulation does not penalize shipping, the most environmental friendly means of transportation, and in the process advantage competition from far more carbon-intensive modes of transportation. For reasons both of regulation and profitability, ship owners are more and more focused on reducing our biggest cost, bunker fuels and increasing energy efficiency. Bunker fuels may be the largest item of operating cost, but it is not the only one. The cost of compliance with the regulation noted above, the cost of training and retaining quality crew, as well as the everyday cost of doing business, means owners have to do the impossible, cut expenditure while at the same time retain the quality. Of course, we are not magicians, merely only shipping people. That means we have to do what we have always done, be creative in developing and applying solutions while striving to make progress despite the challenges that we face. Which brings us today. At this conference today, we will hear from the expert on how to tackle the biggest challenge facing the industry and find an answer to the question, where shipping is going. In the example of fuel efficiency, we need to understand the prospects for further environmental regulation and the technical solution which we have been developed in response. Can eco-ships deliver measurable difference in fuel efficiency? How effectively can energy efficiency clauses be written into a new building contract? Should we believe what we read about energy-saving devices for existing ships, or should we accept that the time is coming for us to embrace new fuels? It is also clear that in this new environment we must accept that the old model of ship finance has changed too. For owners with long-term relationship, bank finance may continue to be an option, but can the capital market and unconventional sources of finance, such as private equity, make up the shortfall? The insurance session this afternoon will consider risk management from the perspective of regulation and P&I, hull and machinery. How successful have owners been in marginal liability and rising costs at a time when pressure on margin means compliance and must be balanced against commercial drivers? In the last session of today, Build by Charter, you have an opportunity to hear from our legal colleagues on these issues that affect us as owners and operators. We have a chance to debate charter parties, memorandum of agreement, and shipbuilding contract with some of the best legal minds and some of the region's best-known ship owners. By that stage, I'm sure we will have achieved an understanding of where ship is going. Of course, there are some questions to which it is difficult to find an answer, at least an answer we can agree on, but should not stop us from trying. Today's conference presents a unique opportunity for reflection on the challenges that shipping is facing and to discuss solutions that are workable and practical. In this respect, we can have a very open and free discussion, since this is certainly not the place to take official positions and decisions which belong to the international and national association and, of course, chambers and so on. It is vital in times like this that the industry adopts a collaborative approach alongside its traditional competitive nature. In this way, we can learn how to make our industry truly sustainable in the long term. So, Francesco, with thanks for your invitation to speak to the conference, I hand over to you and wish you, all the speakers, delegates and sponsors, a successful and interesting day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Manuel, I think you have been setting the scene for the conference today very well. We have a very busy agenda, so I will not say too much right now, but I would like just to make a few observations about our proceedings. We have some distinguished speakers from many countries, not only Italy, but also China, Hong Kong, and other Asian countries, from many European countries, from Spain, from UK, from Greece, from Sweden, from Norway, and from many more countries. Also from Brussels, we have a truly European delegation. These speakers represent the ship owning, the legal, the insurance, the finance, and the technical professions. And I'm confident that with these brains in the room, we can find some answers to our most pressing issues. If not, we may need to continue the discussion over dinner. I'm sure this will happen anyway, as having survived a 5 years downturn, there is a lot to be said for the bodily support of good food, good wine, and good conversation. We need today to set a course for where shipping is going in the terms of technology, finance, legal, and insurance matters. And as also Emanuele said, this will require us to be very collaborative. I know that in some territories, Ugo, this has become a very difficult concept, as you know from the classes and the class societies will confirm. But I think that our proceedings here will be informal enough not to trouble the regulators. We must, however, be clear that more shipping regulation must be based on very solid evidence-based criteria. It must be fit for the purpose and reflect the fact that shipping is a patient still in a recovery mood. We are making good progress, but it would make little sense to administer the fatal blow just as shipping is beginning to feel better. It is clear to all of us that shipping is still highly efficient in terms of its contribution to climate change. Saving fuel is the main priority for ship owners, but again, we have to be practical. Being practical sometimes is referred to be the image of shipbuilding, of shipping, but I prefer to think of it as the image of global trade, since we account for 90% of it but create less than 5% CO2 emissions. Equally, we must recognize that now is the time to make sensible and well-considered investment. Investing, as Manuel has outlined, in unproven technologies with no proven payback and very uncertain efficacy would seem to make little sense. So a lot of work has to be done. And there also needs to be an understanding that without contract terms to back up such investments, which guarantee this better performance, the risk is that good money is being thrown after bad. We'll create a lot of hot air in this beautiful monastery, but we cannot use wind power to sustainably power our ships. So we must seek alternatives. Like an eco-ships, I hope we can do this today and capture the mood of the times, becoming a leaner and more efficient industry and demonstrating that we can make improvements. The first speakers will deal in particular with this subject, and then there will be a discussion and questions to an Italian ship owner, Emanuele Grimaldi, Hong Kong ship owner, Mr. Mats Berglund, and an Italian shipbuilder, Mr. Petrone, is arriving at 10:30 with other participants because there is a delay on the train from Rome, but still in time for the closing panel. So in this way we'll be better at coping with the change to come and more able to adapt ourselves to what is going to be a very challenging business environment. I think I said all, and I would like to hand over to the chairman for the first session, who are Ugo Salerno, the CEO of RINA, and our old and new friend, Alphonse Guigné, who has been for many years Secretary of General Association of the European ship owners. They will host the first session of this conference, Sailing Towards New Technical Solutions. Thank you.